Hi, yoga friends. Let's just sit back and take a nice grounding breath. Primary series and cross training. Spring is here, and we're all going to be playing a lot more. I wanted to take a moment and pause and talk about the role of primary series and then cross training and how the two worlds meet really, really well when we can get out ahead of a couple of curves that can often happen when we're integrating new spring and summer things into our existing winter routine. Primary series is concentration. So yoga chittavritti nirodha. We are looking to calm the thought waves of the mind. Just slow it down. Perks are we do this in a very physical way. So we're doing Surya Namaskaras, we're doing jump throughs, we're doing standing series. Some of our friends who've been working through injury are just doing like insane isometric, like calisthenic, like holds. So perks are you get really strong. Your Ashtangis have great arm muscles. We get these really long hamstrings. All of these things are really great perks about primary series. It also is meant to help with digestion. So briefly, very briefly, a yogic diet is plant-based. Just think of it that way. If you are not digesting your food well, right, you can Google down what healthy poops looks like. I'm not going to get into that. That means that maybe it's time to look at that. But generally, whole foods, plant-based diet is what you're going to want to do. And in line with the seasons, you're not going to want to eat a big ass salad in the middle of winter. Most people don't want to do that anyways, but that's counterindicated. Super easy. So cross training and recovery, right? So let's say you have done a really intense workout and every day between when you start practice and your next practice happens, for if you're doing the full shebang, you have 24 or 48 hours of recovery. If you insert another activity into that, your recovery time is cut in half. Basically, we have to consider that, right? The body's going to be affected in some way. We're not on retreat. Yoga's meant to improve our lives. So you don't want to not do the thing, but we want to be realistic about what the vessel in like a very broad stroked term can do in a day. So in primary series, it's all there. Like all of the movements, every part of your body that you would need to exercise and move, you can do it in primary series. The thing is, there are a couple of spots that are not, like, you have to kind of go looking for in the asana, right? If you're looking for long hamstrings, just do primary series and you'll be fine. I have seen a very rare student who are just incredibly tight in their hamstrings not have that work, and that's very rare, and I think kind of subjective to the person without getting into it. So these are the hot spots in the body that you have to kind of go looking for, right? So the TFL, the transfascial ligaments, they're the ligaments that are on the outside of the leg. They run down the outside of the leg. So it's really easy in primary series to always turn the foot out, right? Or keep a moderate turnout. But the TFL, you can really get in and work that angle. You have to think about it in the asana and pay attention to your feet. Hip opening, right? So we do quite a bit of half lotus. That's more for the digestion stuff, but we don't see a lot of inner thigh and outer hip opening like aggressively in the asanas. So you have to kind of tune in and go looking for that. Back bending, there's not a ton of back bending in primary series. So when you're in the asanas, one of the things that I'm always really working to give you guys space to just not be like harped on through a screen the whole time, but when you jump through, give yourself a moment. Inhale, exhale. I think it's real easy to get stuck here in primary series, right? And then abdominal toning. So here's the thing. Free breathing with sound. Actually, let's all just take a moment here. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. Okay, now take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, moving from your belly button. Free breathing with sound. Transverse abdominis, superficial area of the abdomen. Whatever artificial flavors or whatever, I can't remember. Michelle, help me here. Like the sub layers of the abdomen, they're all worked with a nice exhale, right? But oftentimes when we're in asana, we'll get super cerebral, the universal we. Maybe I'm projecting a little bit, but this is a Melissaism, right? Like super cerebral, like picking apart the asana. Maybe we're feeling pain and we're like, what the fuck is that? Like trying to understand what's going on in the body. And then we forget to breathe, right? And then the abdominal toning is lost. So, the always kind of bringing it back to the exhale, bringing it back to drawing the navel center in. You hear me give the cue, Mula Bandha, right? And I think that that's a little kind of cheating, it's kind of fun to say, but really Mula Bandha is pull the navel in and close the sphincter, lift the pelvic floor up, right? And that's all done with that lift of the diaphragm on a nice big exhale. So where PT or an extra 10 to 15 to target specific areas can come in. So let's say, this happens to a lot of us, a lower back thing is happening, and we go and we see a PT and we're given some exercises that are going to help our practice. We got to get it in. The kids are going to be asking for dinner at night. I've got this sacred hour in the morning. I can't get to it at night. I have to go take care of my grandma or, whatever. When do you do those extra 10 to 15? At the end of your practice. So you finish your last seated finishing pose, and then from there, you lay down, take rest, get up, take your 10 to 15 of PT. That's what I would suggest. You don't lose points if you do it before resting, but I would try both ways and see what works for you. I found that if I don't rest right after I take pranayama, my mind is super scattered and I don't let the yoga work. Like I don't let my central nervous system calm down. That's just for me. And again, purely a Melissaism. Recovery. So sports recovery, very basic tenets of activity during the day, right? Men, 15,000 calories, don't go below that. That's like your fuel for the day. Women, don't go below 12,000. Similarly, you don't want to be going too far over 2,500 for guys, and women right around 2,000 is pretty good, pretty standard. If you're looking for weight loss, creating a 300 to 500 calorie deficit in the day, that's how you'll start to lose mass in the body, essentially. Unfortunately, with yoga, we don't get the heart rate up quite enough to do, like, I wouldn't want you guys to have like a 180 BPM during your asana practice. I mean, shit, like that's a lot. But a nice, long bike ride or, fun YouTube video or something can get that up for you if that's one of your goals. And then as far as sports recovery, so let's say it's just spring and you're doing more stuff and you're like out running and, you're more active. This is just very basic tenets. Hot cold therapy, right? So taking a like 1 to 2 minute stint in a super cold shower after you've had a really intense workout can be super helpful. See polar plunge or like, cold therapy literature. It's actually quite fascinating. And then on the other side of that would be an Epsom salts bath. So a nice warm bath and just sweat it out, soak, let your body and muscles relax. If you want to take that a step further, warm up some sesame oil, rub your body down, focus on the joints that are going to be sore, and then take a nice bath. No shorter than 15 minutes, or else it's like, it's not as effective. Arguably, is it effective at all? You're just kind of rushing in and out. And then electrolytes, super important. You guys might always see me. I've been running around a little bit more, so I always use Ultima. I really like that brand. But electrolyte powder is really great. And then you might just need recovery time. So in practice, we have a 24 to 48 hour recovery time period. If you put more activity in that your body's not used to, your recovery time is shortened. And you're going to expect to feel a little different, especially too if like, oh my gosh, I love the running clubs. They're so fun where you're like, you go out for like this long ass run, it's 6 miles. I don't know. That's long for me. I'd probably die. You're out there, you're doing it, you're with a bunch of friends. And then like, what's the culture? French fries and beer, and if you do that long run and then you cake that on top, like it's probably going to be shit the next day. You might want to just rest. You do you, but sometimes it's fun to wrestle with the tiger just to know what you're dealing with. And if you wanted to ensure that you were going to practice the next day, drink a seltzer and like plug your nose. I don't know. I wish I had something better for you than that. Like, definitely don't leave. Hang out, like have fun, have the experience. Don't be a weird yoga person, but definitely like just beware of that stuff. Like, it's real. It fucks the body up in ways that are not so don't make for happy joints. So very practical things to do. Hopefully that gives you a couple of ideas on how to manage that. And then I'll leave you with every asana in Primary Series has a therapeutic version. If you find yourself in pain and you don't know what to do, that is what I'm here for. Ask me. If I don't know, I will let you know I don't know, and I'll send you to someone who does, because there's no reason you can't have an amazing daily yoga practice and enjoy this. We want to be doing this until we're like in our mid 90s. But it's just a matter of like being really practical and pragmatic about your approach to asana and looking for the legs to stand in, right? Because if we go based on the culture that we've created for ourselves at AYB, like we just show up for each other. We're encouraging, we say good morning, we know each other's name. Like, this is a very supportive community and we're all in it together. So if you have a question or are feeling a certain way, like I've probably felt it, so has everyone else. Like, you're not alone. And yeah, just reach out. Let me know. Sorry to be dramatic, but at any rate, I hope this was helpful. Message me if you want to talk more about a specific thing, or if something else can be helpful, or if I, can elaborate a little more or go in a different direction. Thanks for asking questions, and you guys are awesome. All right, see you on the mat.